Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is the same shirt I was wearing last time. I promise I own more than one shirt. This was just a happy accident, I guess. Maybe this shirt brings on the urge to make YouTube videos. I don't know. But today, we are talking about the American Frugal Housewife, dedicated to those who are not ashamed of economy. This is by Mrs. Child. That's all we really get. And is from 1833. This book itself, say hello, is not actually from 1833. I got this while in Sturbridge, I think, Massachusetts. It's like a colonial town thing. It's like a period town. Anyway, they had this there, and I thought it would be fun to read. It kind of was. The beginning started off pretty well. There was like some good like advice and everything. Some of it I just didn't know what it meant, so there's that. But there was things like, you know, saving old clothes or scraps of clothes for mending, which I feel like is something people already do, and then like saving, you know, the extra bits of string for if you need to sew something small or something like not throwing away the string you didn't use or something, if it's long enough. Like, and that just feels like stuff that people do anyway. So I guess some of that have survived. So cool, I guess. There is some good stuff about cooking. I say good. I don't know if I mean good, but there's some stuff about cooking. There's one that I actually want to make. There's a pudding in here, but I need to get a pudding cloth. Townsend sells one. I just haven't gotten it. So eventually I will get a pudding cloth and try to make this. It's really easy. It's flour and butter or something. I just want to see what it tastes like. But puddings always kind of creep me out because they look like a little egg. Because it's like you put, it's not like a pudding like we think of it, right? We think of like chocolate pudding or tapioca pudding or whatever you get in your little lunch boxes. But these puddings are like kind of like a cake or something, that like the cake dough or whatever, and you get it into a ball, and then you put it in a cloth, and then you tie the cloth up, and then you put that into boiling water for like a certain amount of time, and it boils the batter instead of baking it. I can't decide if that's going to be okay or not. So we'll just have to see. Eventually, maybe. Who knows? Coming in the year 2027, I'll finally make the pudding that I was talking about. Anyways, there's also some cool stuff about critter prevention. And by that, I mean like bugs and stuff. She's talking about how roaches hate turpentine, apparently. I told my boyfriend about this, and he says, so does everybody. So there's that. You can keep bed bugs away with, what was it, egg, I think. Let me hang on. I'm going to check my notes. You can keep bed bugs away with eggs mixed with mercury, which is how you can keep most living things away, I would say, is mixing mercury in it. So there's that. There's some interesting stuff about checking how meat is good or bad. Some of it seems like common knowledge now, but I can see how maybe it wasn't back in the day, I guess. But like, you know, if it's green, don't eat it, kind of stuff or whatever. But she makes some good points. Like you can poke it and see if it stays or if it bounces back, like stuff like that. Apparently you can tell the ages of like pigeons by what color the legs are. And yeah, there's also some of the instructions for cooking with meat is just... Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. Like, I'm sure it's helpful if you wanted to make those things, or if they still sold them in the way that they're talking about. But I don't really want to talk about it. She gets a little preachy in the middle, towards the end, kind of talking about morality of going to a public amusement or something, as if you're not allowed to have any joy in your life. So that was kind of whatever. Oh, there was a quote that I liked. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can... Yes, here it is. There is more deception in geese than in any other kind of poultry. And to that I say amen. I believe she was talking about either cooking or checking the meat. But I think just in general, that's a good maxim for life, is geese are deceptive. Deceitful little creatures. They have teeth. Please don't forget. Geese have teeth. What else was there? Oh, not a whole lot. Some of the remedies. Oh yeah, she was talking about remedies for like some of the illnesses and stuff. And like I said this before with the last book, but treatments or finding remedies before germ theory was just a wild west of craziness. Like, some of it sounds kind of good, like, put lemons with invalids because it makes them feel better. Like, I mean, I guess it, like, helps a stale room have, like, a nice odor, right? Or a nice scent. But, you know, not like this was one, but, you know, put butter on your back to help with the hiccups. Like, weird stuff that's, you know, felt like that. It was just kind of like, meh, yeah, nah. But she does tell you to, like, you know, run, a burn underwater to, like, a 1st-degree burn or whatever underwater to, like, help it heal or to make it go away faster. And so I guess some of it's just grain of salt, because she also recommends to use earwax as lip balm. She doesn't say if you should collect your own or buy others at the store, but I think that is something I might break out if I'm ever lost in northern Canada for an extended period of time. But otherwise, I think I'm okay. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it was fine. She gets a little, what feels a little snippy towards the English Frugal Housewife cookbook. There's a section in here where she's like, well, I wanted to include an appendix and some excerpts from the English Frugal Housewife, but none of those things really apply here. She's like, okay. You know, so there's stuff like that. It's okay. It's a book full of things that you will and will not understand. And that's okay. And I would say that, I don't know. This is a really, honestly, I'm not a huge, I'm kind of a fan, but not, I like more the frontier style stuff, and a lot of this is like in your home kind of advice. I'm more of like a frontier girly, because I like the, like, figuring out how to survive with nothing kind of deal. Like, I like the camping aspect and all of that stuff. And this is more like how to clean stains off of your wood furniture and how to polish your fireplace or whatever. And that's all fine and dandy, but I don't really care about a lot of that, which is kind of a shame. But like I said, some of the stuff, especially early on in the book, with like how to treat some things or like make some foods and things, is all right. Although I will say one of my favorite parts about making food in these older books is do to taste. Like, for the first time you're making it, like, you know, sweeten to taste. Great. No help with how much sugar that might be. Like, do people usually use a teaspoon or do people usually use 2 pounds? Right? It's just sweeten to taste. Okay. And sometimes it's stuff like you can't even taste test, right? It's got to be cooked first. Like, especially with meat, when they're like, you know, you putting the seasonings on the meat, or like whatever, basting it, or whatever people call it, where you use the brush and you paint it. But like, she'll be like, and add that to taste. Ma'am, do I do it till it looks right? Because there's a big difference between a lot of oregano and a little bit of oregano, right? So I mean, I get it. Like, you're supposed to test the recipes or whatever, but also I'm trying to be economical, ma'am, and not use things that I shouldn't be using. I know spices don't cost that much necessarily, but maybe I'm picking them out of my garden. I don't know, but I am trying to be economical and save things and not use things that don't need to be used. And so if you are telling me to just do it to taste on something that I don't know what it is, what does it mean? But that's probably my biggest qualm. It kind of reminds me of that. There's an episode of, I think it's Even Stevens. Oh man, showing my age. But there's an episode of Even Stevens where they're making a recipe, and it's like a little there's the abbreviations in the book, and it's like a P with a period, and they put in what is it? Is it flour? I think it's supposed to be a pinch of flour, and they put in a pound on accident, and the thing like expands. And it's anyway, it's funny. Back in my day, all that jazz. Anyway, I'm not gonna edit this, so I hope it turned out okay and I didn't say too many times. I'll be back later, but I'm gonna go read a different book that isn't this. Bye.